Hey Skyfarers, and welcome to Aethercast, the Kharadron Overlords podcast. I'm Lee, the Arcanaut Admiral, and today I'm joined by a couple of great admirals to chat to us about Barak Nar and this building. So before we do, let's meet these admirals. We've got the most stubborn dwarf in all the Mortal Realms, Max Baumann. Hi Max.
Hello, this is my show now.
Harry. He came to
no longer a guest. No longer a guest star.
What have you been up to recently, Max?
Well, not much. Just painting a little bit. Hunting down the new Baumann model because we talked last time, tried to pre-order it. Then it wasn't available anywhere. It wasn't available on the Games Workshop online store.
Wow.
Called a few shops, and then one of the local Games Workshop shops was so nice to like put one under the counter for me. So I picked it up on Saturday. He's partially assembled, so we have his barrel, we have him with a bit of basing, and I couldn't decide between the two heads, and since I only bought one, I magnetized the heads. So
yeah. Nice. Don't lose the other one.
Yeah. You'll get all the effort of magnetizing the heads and then lose one.
No, so what you do is you put a magnet on his waist, and you just swap them. Yeah.
That's fine when it's the helmet. Yeah. When it's
but
the helmet
I think I'll go for the helmet because he has like a tube from the barrel directly into his mouthpiece. So basically like a beer hat. So yeah, that's the rule of cool. That's the one.
And also joining us is Beards of Glory, Mr. Kyle Calip. How are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm looking to pick up there's a tournament coming next weekend with more competitive players. So I'm looking to pick a Nar list. So hopefully somebody here can help me decide which of the lists to take, and I'll try it out. I'm going to finish the journey around the Skyports.
Okay, cool. And you went to a tournament yesterday, but didn't play KO.
I did not because I didn't want to win. I got to the finals
Modest.
Anyway, but,
Modest.
Some guy was playing Mega Gargants, and it was just like, it'd be cool to see Mega Gargants win a tournament. Mm-hmm. And I knew that if I put KO on the table, it wouldn't have happened. So that's kind of what happened, honestly.
Yeah.
Okay. Although a friend of mine, he played them at the most recent Hammer Time DTS tournament, and he won his first 2 games, and they're not that bad.
I was surprised. They won the tournament. Like Mega Gargants are pretty good. They have their strengths, and those strengths are really good.
Yep.
I think they're largely battle plan dependent.
Yes. Yeah, I was against them on focal points, which is just you can't. Like, what are you gonna do, right? Like, if they go second, then they have all the points, right? So.
Yeah, and they're just all close to each other as well. So.
Yeah, that was the issue.
And potentially might be joined by Dave Kane in a little while as well, but he's been lost in the Aether Void or something. But yeah, and no Kron today. We changed the times a bit. He was playing a tournament yesterday where he took Barak Nar and went 2-1.
Oh,
so that's cool. So let's have a little chat about the news.
Yes.
Much, so it'll be quick.
Not much. I mean, we've talked about the Broken Realm Morathi book. It got released yesterday, so I think by now people have either listened to 2+ Tough's narration of the narrative, which I can recommend, or have read the book themselves. But there's not much KO in there. They don't even mention KO.
Is any rules changes?
No, not to KO. So there's rule changes to a lot of factions, but nothing to KO. Maybe what is of significance for KO is that eels got better. So I don't know. 2+ unrenderable eels is a thing now.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Yep.
Eels got better.
Yeah.
At least in the first turn they have, because they made Idoneth Deepkin better, and the units in Idoneth Deepkin, but still taking a lot of eels is a better option, and
That
they improved them.
hurts.
So now you can have eels with better saves and casting. So maybe you lose, I don't know, 3 eels or 6 eels, but you still have a lot of eels, and then you have the big turtle. And it's we'll see.
The big turtle stacking now with cover in the first
Yes.
turn, so everything's got basically +2 to its save in the first turn. That's pretty strong.
I can appreciate not making alphas win every tournament.
Yeah.
So that's fair. I get that. That said, they should just buff the other units, right? Like the eels didn't need any love; they were already winning.
they buffed the sharks, they buffed the big turtles, but
Yeah.
still having eels is a good option.
Yeah,
but
they
we'll
didn't make
see.
eels any worse, and then the stuff that they buffed, they basically gave them abilities that can be used on eels. So
it can be used on eels, or that eels benefit from.
yeah.
For example, the Alopex has a shot. If you shoot with the net and you hit, you don't need to wound, just hit. Then that unit cannot make a pylon move in the next combat.
And then you charge it with eels.
So then you charge them with, I don't know, something on the side or with eels, and then they get less hits back. So yeah. Okay. Well, today we had an article that previewed what's happening next week. Mostly they talk about Blood Bowl. We had this week was a Blood Bowl release, so not much KO. There's a nice dwarf referee model. Maybe you want to use him for some conversion. But next Saturday, the 21st of November, there's a Warhammer preview on Twitch, as we already had a few this year. And the title of this one is Decadence and Decay. They said it's both for Warhammer 40k, Warhammer Age of Sigma, and as always, it's the biggest and the best and most fantastic reveal show, as always. So they said it's big things. We'll see. Maybe Decadence and Decay is some suggestion for Slanesh and Nurgle, Death Guard, something around that. We'll see. Will be interesting.
It kind of makes sense to be Slanesh.
It could be Slanesh after what the narrative of the Morathi book happened with Slanesh. So it seems like Slanesh is either freed or reborn in a different form, or we don't know. But apparently Slanesh and Slanesh mortals is a thing to come. Then there was a little article that mentioned, so we had the first Broken Realm book, what's coming next, what's happening next, and the text mentioned, how are the elven gods going to react to this, what Morathi did in this narrative, but also they mentioned destruction, because we already had a little short story. I think it was the first short story where it seemed like Gorka Morka is returning, more powerful people or orcs finding their way to the Wa. So maybe there's the next book will
finding their way
all
to the
around.
Wall. There's a place like the Walhalla.
No, like a state of mind. I think
Gotcha.
A state of mind. Like
when orcs die, they go to Walhalla.
Kind of. So maybe that's a hint to the next book, maybe centered around destruction. So, because this one was mostly order, we had a little bit of chaos. Maybe destruction would be interesting. Some abilities, for Savage Orcs, maybe Goblins, I don't know, or Sons of Behemoth. Who knows? Basically, that's it with the news. I don't have much more. Do you have anything I missed?
It's not really news. The only other thing is in the Morathi book there was a little bit of mention of some dwarves trying to help defend the city, and they went in a cog fort.
Yeah,
dude. Oh yeah, that was huge. Actually, there might be a cog fortress in the near future because of how much they push that thing.
Yeah.
That would be
Yeah, so
really cool.
they manned the cockford and bombarded the city. Yeah.
Yeah, and the way they talked about it moving and stuff, it would be cool if they did do like a big cog fort model.
A big terrain piece that's
Yeah.
movable.
Well, it doesn't even necessarily have to be a terrain piece, but giant sized.
Like imagine it's the size of a Mega Gargant.
Yeah. And then
Like
you could,
600-700 points.
I don't know. Maybe like a massive steam tank thing.
They made it
I'm
sound like
thinking it's a walker. I think it'd be cool. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
We'll see.
That's the only thing Dwarden related, other than Bugman. He's called Bugmanson, I should say. But, nothing KO related though. So
Not really, no.
we know what the
Bugman
battle
didn't get rules.
Not yet. We expect him to get rules through the community site, the same that that goblin, that communist goblin, got them last year. But they're probably going to be legends anyway. So if you want to play him, play him. They probably have rules then as legends.
What's the base size?
There's a 32mm base.
Are admirals 32 or 40?
32.
Cool. So you can just
Same-
use
same
Bugman
as
into that.
Buffer is.
Yeah, or as a chemist or a navigator or whatever.
Yeah.
There is, however, already a piece of rules for him written by Ricky Smith, I think.
Oh, okay.
You can check it out he posted it on Facebook. Basically, what he took is similar abilities to the chemist, but he buffs all Duardin units, not just KO.
Mm-hmm.
And because
Gives them
everyone, yeah, exactly. Like he gives them beer, and his idea was also that people tend to run towards him for the beer, not away from him. So he can once per round use a inspiring presence without spending a CP.
Okay.
So that was a fun little rule. I think he put him at 110 points. So if you want to play him, maybe that's a suggestion how to play him.
Yeah.
Sounded
like
fun, not overpowered. So cool.
Handing out beer is kind of like a cross between like the Daughters of Kane sippy cup and Aethercast.
Yeah, and he
And
gave him
if
a melee attack. Like he hits you with his beer stein.
If it was Dwarden, it was just a chemist, but it affected Dwarden, then it'd be so good in Barak's Ring.
Yeah,
Like,
reroll 1 to wound. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. Like honestly, it'd be so really, really good. It wouldn't be broken, which is nice, but it would have a place, and you could play it as a unit. It would be good.
Yeah, it would be good. It would stack nicely with the reroll ones you get from the allegiance ability. Duplicate. Cool. Well, should we move on and start talking about Barak Nar then?
Yes.
Yep.
Cool. Let's have a look then. So, yeah, Barak Nar's allegiance abilities. I'm going to go ahead and say they're frustrating. It's a shame Dave's not here because he would be the one to defend them. So let's jump in and look at the first one, which is their main ability, which is Scholars and Commanders. At the start of the first battle round, roll a dice for each friendly Barak Nar hero on the battlefield, including any that are part of the garrison. For each 4+, you receive 1 extra command point. So,
Okay. So we're running what? 3 heroes?
Should be running
Maximum 4.
Should be running 4 or 5.
Okay.
Can run 6.
Yeah.
So okay, maximum of what? 3 command points?
Maximum 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's on a 4+, so
yeah, it's not bad.
And it's only it's the start of the first battle round, so it's not in your hero phase or something, so it's not every turn, it's just once.
No, once per game you start with more command points, so maybe an incentive to build your army around command abilities, but then again in KO there aren't that many.
There aren't any. So you could say, hey, cost 50 points to get an extra command point. So it's not bad. That said, when you think of Seraphon, every single hero, every single turn gets extra, somewhere between 1 to 3 extra command points on a 4 or 5 up. So it's like, why couldn't they just make it every turn? We're not using them for anything. So just give it to us. Like,
Especially if we look at the other rules, then we understand why we're not using them.
Not using any of them. Yeah.
So
it's okay. It exists. There's some realm command spells that are neat. If you're on Shyish, you're given the Funeral Pain. Pretty huge.
Yeah, or highish, like ignore rend, ignore cover.
Yeah, Olgu, you teleport a unit. You can get out of a garrison. There are some things you can do with this, like
Although teleport out of the garrison, a few TOs have ruled that that's not possible, because when you put them in the garrison, you remove them from the battlefield, and that means they're not on the battlefield, and you need to pick a unit on the battlefield for that command ability teleport. So I'd say it probably doesn't work.
Yeah, the trouble with the realm command abilities is you don't know what realm you're going to be playing in, so it's potluck. I mean, if all else fails, just reroll ones to hit. So
I mean, I think that's one that personally I think I need to use more, because I end up my games with like 2 or 3 command points for one. So I should have spent those like to get some extra shots.
Yeah.
Yep.
So moving on to the article, which is respect your commanders. You can re-roll Battleshock tests for friendly Barak Nar units while they are wholly within 12 inches of a friendly Barak Nar hero.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So basically what Thunderers can already do with the bearer, standard bearer, and what Arcanauts can do if they're wholly within 9 of an objective.
Yeah.
So you're doubling down.
Yeah, basically.
So only once you get something around this are the riggers, or Sky Riggers. They don't have it innately, but then also think, oh, you get this in Urbaz, you get this in Mornar, you almost get this in Zon. Like this isn't a unique ability. So.
And you get extra command points, which you could use for Inspiring Presence.
Yeah.
Which means this is not going to be applied anyway.
Yeah. So. And spoiler alert, when you get the command trait, it's even less useful. So yeah, it's not amazing. Their amendment is trust Aethematics, not superstition, which is each Barak Nar hero can attempt to unbind one spell in the enemy hero phase. If they can already attempt to unbind a spell, they can attempt to unbind one extra spell. So, I mean, that's not bad.
It's not.
It's actually really good, honestly, but it's also not.
And here's why not, because it specifically says unbinding. So endless spells get dispelled, so it doesn't work on endless spells. A plus point from my side, it's the coolest name of that ability. Trust Aethematics, not superstition. Fantastic. But okay, you get a lot of unbinds. So let's say you have your 6 heroes, you get 6 unbinds plus whatever navigators you have.
Yeah. I mean, we can't really discuss it in much detail without talking about the footnote, which is basically you get to add 1 to unbinding rolls for Barak Nar heroes. So every hero gets to unbind and they get +1 to the roll. Which, I mean, you combine those 2 things, that's not bad. That's getting better now. The main trouble is when you come up against a really strong spellcaster armies when they're +2 or +3 to cast. And then it's not that helpful.
Or they just auto-cast it.
It maybe gives you like a chance to stop 1 or 2 spells if they roll low, and you only need to match their casting roll because you get a 1+1. For armies like maybe Gits or I don't know, armies that cast a lot but not at a high value, or maybe some City of Sigmar builds, it can shut down their hero phase. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I think this is one of those things where if you're not playing competitive, Nar is pretty solid because you're up against another dude who's not playing competitive army, and you can just shut down his.
His list is depending on that bridge. You stop that bridge.
Yeah,
cool.
This suffers from the state of the meta at the moment, where people are either taking very strong magic armies or
not at all.
Not at all.
Yeah.
So the fact that there's so many strong magic armies is pushing other people away from taking the one or two casts that just do one spell about a modifier and stuff. So yeah, there's that. The command trait, so obviously being given to a general, is Champion of Progress, which is you basically have battle shock community for Barak Nar units while they're wholly within 12 inches of the general. So that's good.
That's good, but then why do I need a reroll?
Exactly.
And all the CP.
Yeah.
I mean, I can spend the CP on other stuff, but
Yeah, sure. We went over that.
So,
yeah.
Why?
Yeah. I mean, it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. So
yeah, what I don't like about this especially is it's anti-synergetic with the other abilities. Plus, it's a Barak Nar hero, so it's not keyworded to a specific hero, so you cannot avoid this. You need to take this trait, and I believe they are.
Admiral already has it.
Yeah.
True.
General on someone who's not, but like when you're playing Barak Nar, when you're playing KO, I feel like the Admiral should be the general, just for thematic reasons, right?
I have not played him once.
Get out of here! If he's in the army, he needs to have it. You know what I'm saying? Like if he's not in the army, sure, that's fine.
Yeah,
but if he's in the army, the Admiral should be the general. Like what are you doing?
Yeah, sure.
But so you literally would never have Barak Nar an Admiral be the general because it does nothing. Absolutely.
Yeah, it gives him nothing exactly, and I believe there are better traits in the book.
Yeah, one of the problems is if you look at this in comparison to the extra unbinds you get and the ability to get extra CPs on a 4+, it's like oh no, wait, I've completely lost my train of thought.
It's not as good. Just because.
I remember what I was going to say now. So both of those two things are incentivizing you to take lots of heroes. So, okay, what else might you want to take if you're getting lots of heroes? Iron Command, which gives you battle shock immunity.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
So you got one thing incentivizing that, and then another thing and then you're like, okay. So.
And the other thing is that the Admiral is the only one who has command abilities. Yes. The Chemist doesn't have any, period. Navigator doesn't have any, period. Engine Master only is useful if you have a bunch and whatever was getting shot at didn't die.
If you have Endrinriggers on the boat.
I've used it one time. Out of all of the games I've played with KO, I've used that command ability once.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I do like it because when, your boat's down, wounds your ironclad, it cannot fly high anymore, then you go, well, the boat heals 1. The Enry Master heals 3. These 6 guys are gonna heal 1 on a 4+, and then you're hoping to get above those 7 wounds. I'll just spend a command point so they can reroll theirs.
Yeah.
I've used it, and then it worked, and the boat's back up to 15 wounds. Ta-da! People break down in desperation, but
I usually play with either multiple Engine Masters, or I mean, that's it. I usually just get 7 flat.
Then also both Engine Masters have the same ability.
Yeah.
So again,
So the Admiral gets a lot of value out of multiple CP, but again, like you said, the Ironclad already gives Battle Shock Immune. The General gives Battle Shock Immune. Now the Admiral gives Battle Shock Immune. Everyone already has Battle Shock rerolls anyway. So what is the article for? So
and they're just too many things potentially doing the same thing.
Let's move on.
Yeah. So and then the artifact, which there's no way to avoid, it's because it's on a Barak Nar hero, is the Aether Charge rune. So once per battle, you can change either one hit roll for an attack made by the bearer or one save roll for an attack that targets the bearer to a roll of your choice. This thing is pretty good, except for the fact that it's once per battle.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that it's changing a roll means that it happens before modification. So it's it's not
one hit roll.
Oh, so what if you have bias? Wait, what did it matter?
Or one save roll.
Because
It's one
on
dice.
the Endrin Master, his oh wait, is this thing on wound rolls or hit rolls?
Hit rolls.
Oh, yeah, it is on hit rolls. So because it's changing a roll, it counts as, if you change it to a 6, it counts as an unmodified 6.
Because you first do the roll and then apply modifiers.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
changing a roll isn't a modifier, basically.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's changing rolls or picking a roll,
Yeah.
those sorts of things happen before modification. So it counts as an unmodified roll for abilities. So if you put on an Endrin Master, then he can just do a flat 3 mortal wounds once per battle.
Okay.
Guarantee it. So that's quite good. But it's unfortunately is once per battle.
Mm-hmm. But that's
compared to-
maybe that's the best use for it.
Yeah.
I think so.
Because
Out
it's one save roll, and you do save rolls one after the other, so it's just one die. One wound you can try to negate. Maybe it's the critical one that saves your hero, but mostly. I don't
Out
know.
of all the artifacts from all the Skyports, this is the worst one. Like of the ones you have to take.
The Urbaz, Endrin,
Oh, that's not an artifact.
yeah, but it's the same
But
category.
it actually gives you an artifact. That's fantastic.
Yeah, but that one
You
isn't
know?
the best one I choose. Breath of Morgrim.
Yeah.
Breath isn't too bad. You'll get
It's
more
not
than 3
bad,
mortal wounds.
but I'd rather use another one from the list.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you look at these abilities as a whole, they don't rock my world. I'll be honest.
Nope.
The last thing is that not on here. Thunder is the battle line.
Oh yes, because that's not on the abilities, is it? Obviously. Yeah. So the other thing is Barak Nar makes Thunder's battle line, which is
It might be the best
probably the best
aspect
thing
of it.
about it.
Yeah, because then you don't need an extra battle line to make those free. If you want to go down the Thunderer route,
You really, really don't like Arcanauts for some reason.
I like them for what they do, but I hesitate to spend more than 180 points on Arcanauts. Like I don't want to have 30 of them.
No,
Which also has to do with the
Not
battalions.
playing any other Skyport.
No, I've been going
I
down
know,
the Fring route, but then it's mostly not Arcanauts.
So, yeah, and then so the other thing about these abilities is if you look at because they incentivize you to take Thunderers, incentivize you to take lots of heroes. But if you take, say, the one battalion that has Thunderers in, you only get one unit because it's just one unit of Thunderers. It's not 1 to 3, and you don't get any heroes in that battalion. And yeah, if you take the battalion that's got lots of heroes, you don't get any Thunderers, and then it doubles up on the battleship community. So,
Which basically means you're always going to go medium to high drop with Barak Nar.
And the other thing is the battalion that has Thunderers in gives you reroll 1s to hit, but you're getting lots of CPs, and the only useful thing to spend them on is reroll 1s to hit.
Or save.
Save. So, I don't know. I mean, to give Barak Nar some defense, because I know Dave likes it, and I spoke to him about it, and he basically says it's like having a battalion without having a battalion, because you get extra CP, you get battle shock immunity, so it's a bit like having Iron Sky Command. You can spend CPs on reroll 1s to hit, so it's a bit like having Escort Wing. So the only battalion it's not really like having is Iron Sky Attack Squadron.
Now, let's point out one major thing is that all of the KO artifacts are fantastic.
I was about to say that. The main reason to take a battalion is because you want to access one specific artifact, because most Skyports give you one. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That can be a bit of a trap, though. there's a reason why they don't give you in most of the Skyports just like a free choice and artifact because they're all so powerful.
Yeah, but this is operating without one. Period. Yeah. Not only do you not get one, not only do you not get an extra one, you don't even get a regular one.
Yeah. So I think Barak Nar would be a hell of a lot better if you could avoid taking the Aether Charge rune. Like if it was only on an Entrant Master or something.
Or you could just take Collector as a general trait. Like if you got a second Warlord trait. If that was somewhere in here, that would be amazing. It's just like, oh yeah, by the way, you don't have to take a battalion. Here's a second Warlord trait. This would be really, really good.
Yeah. Yeah, because if you could avoid the command trait, then you could take Iron Sky Command with a Chemist General. So you avoid the command trait but still get it sort of. And then you get an extra.
You get a better one, 18-inch.
Yeah, or you just take Collector without it, and then you get an extra artifact anyway. So I don't know. We're going to look at some lists in a minute, but I guess there's a couple of different ways that you can play this. One of them is you just go for units that you like, and you want to fill those roles, and you don't worry about battalions. And it's basically build an army around that sort of thing, or you really play into the Thunderers,
or you're really playing into one specific hero.
You really like Thundrick?
No, I was mentioning the other hero, the other Nar hero.
Do you mean Brokk?
We're gonna talk about that guy. Yeah, you want Brokk.
Thundrick's not bad. Thundrick's not bad. He's okay.
Thundrick's not bad. Thundrick's actually...
He's good.
The only thing that's not good about him is the fact that Volley Fire exists. If they get rid of the Volley Fire, then Thundrick will be amazing.
Yeah. Or if we just have the same one as the Chemist, where it's Yeah.
Or just usually you want a normal Chemist because either Vent Plate... All of the Chemist artifacts are absolutely busted. So it's just normally it's not that Thundrick is bad. It's just that the regular Chemist is too good.
He's the 90 points. You can just fit him in most lists. You need a hero. Boom, put him in 90 points. Super cheap, and he's solid.
Yeah, if you just want to save 10 points, it's like you downgrade one hero to him, and then it's that's how you do it. The other way is I guess you can build around Brokk, because this is the only allegiance where his command ability does anything.
I must confess, I have never looked at that war score.
You must have done. I'm sure you did once.
And then deleted it from my.
So underwhelming that you just cleansed it from your mind.
18-inch bubble, 36 inches.
Oh, it's the stupid.
It's 24 inch.
One. Oh, is it 24?
It's 24 inch bubble.
No way. No way. This is amazing. It's absolutely broken.
It's the old Triumph. Like you need to do it before you roll, and with the command ability, you can just re-roll it afterwards.
The difference is it. So
to
explain to anyone listening that doesn't have the war score in front of them, basically, Brokk Grungsson's command ability is before you make a charge roll, you can spend that command point, and all units within 24 inches. Is it wholly within?
It's wholly within 24.
Yeah, wholly within 24. Although it's a massive
4 feet,
so it's a massive circle. It's like a 4 feet circle. Get to reroll charges. So the difference is that if you've got multiple units charging, then that's when it becomes useful.
If you're building an Alpha Strike zone list.
Yes.
But it's Barak Nar units. Oh.
Yeah, it's Barak Nar units. But then he does get some other benefits, like he gets an unbind, which he wouldn't get in any other faction because
Yeah.
he can't benefit from the allegiance abilities in any other faction because he's Barak Nar keyworded.
Mhm.
So he gets that one, and he can put out the reroll Battle Shock aura as well, which we've already discussed how amazing that is.
Yeah, you can get a CP. Yeah.
Yeah, on a 4+.
The only issue is that you're encouraged to take Thunders,
which don't
because
charge.
the battle line. They don't want to go. They don't want to make the charge. They don't
Even
want
with that,
to.
they won't make the charge. Because he's so much faster than them.
That's
He'll
24
be
inches.
24 inches in
yeah.
front of them. So what are they charging?
No.
I don't know.
No. Right. So, should we have a look at a list?
Yep.
So, what is this first? I'm trying to change the order last minute.
Maybe let me see this. So maybe we sound a bit negative about the Skyport and just saying what's stupid and what's wrong. If you like this Skyport, if you have painted it, your army in the scheme of Barak Nar, that's awesome, and don't let us ruin your hobby.
I have.
But you can always play them as Zilfin. The color doesn't matter.
Well,
no, it's just us. These are our ideas. Maybe there's something we haven't found out that we missed, and why Nar is good. So don't let this put you off from trying.
It's the best scheme. That's why they use it on all the boxes.
And it is the main narratively. It's the biggest city, the big one. They have the most money, so you can brag to your friends about that.
They don't have the most money anymore. Since the new book, they changed it. Like Barak Zilfin overtook them.
Are you sure?
Wait,
there's a list.
Urbaz has the most money, pretty sure.
Maybe. Where's the narrative piece where they list
definitely
like the income?
In the Geldrad to Barak Zilfin after.
Here it is. No, Barak Nar capital. 296,132,947 delegates, 6. Barak Zilfin only has 5. Urbaz has only 1. Yeah. Urbaz is pretty.
No, this is seats. We're talking about money.
The status of wealth, the capital, and delegates.
They get the number of seats.
No,
based on
the current capital is Aether Gold shares. And they almost have double what Zilfin has, so they're the big spenders, these guys.
But they used to have more, because after the Gork Morgan, or whatever it's called, the Necroquake.
The Gork.
No, it's
that's the next book.
Like,
that's the next one.
No, the dwarf word for it is like corrupt something.
Yes. Well, you continue. I'll find out.
So basically, after that happened, then all of the Aether Gold scenes got blown away, basically, and because Zilfin had the fastest ships, they got to them quickest and got to reclaim them. So they actually, basically, Barak Nar lost a seat in the Geldrad, and Barak Zilfin got an extra one.
Okay. Well, it's called the Garak Tormun.
See, close enough.
Close enough.
Is this one mine? Okay. Sorry, I'm looking at this list now, and I'm like, wait, this one's mine.
Yeah, this is your list, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I guess we're sitting here waiting for someone to pick one. I'm like, this one's mine. Okay. Let's see. We got a chemist, admiral, engine master. So we got 5 heroes. Yeah, we got 5 heroes. So average 2.5 CP.
1, 2, 3,
extra.
4.
Plus the
only
1. Oh, is it 4? I can't count.
4. Yeah, it's 4.
But it doesn't mean it. Maybe Lee got it wrong. So
yeah.
Average of 2 plus 1 from the escort wing. So you start off with around 4 on the first turn. Cool. Chemist. We got 2 thunders, 2 melee thunders, not melee, special weapons teams. These goes on the ground. And what that means is that the Ironbreakers stand in front of the Thunderers, make this really long line. You have the Thunderers standing behind. You have 2 chemists on either side. There it is. 2 chemists on either side. Then you have Ironbreakers who have -2 to hit in melee, 3 up saves, and they have a Thunderers looking over their back. the rifles go in the frigate, along with 2 gun holders with sky cannons, and they just kind of move around and play like a normal K army. So what this does for you is this allows you to play like Barak Nar, but have a bit more. I think this actually has a little bit more synergy, because the Ironbreakers aren't there to do a bunch of damage. Like say if you took 30 hammers as well, the Ironbreakers are there to soak hits, and the fact that this leans heavily into the special rules for the Thunderers, particularly pin them, shred them, finish them. You get +1 hit and everything. So everything, all your special weapons basically are going to all your weapons are hitting on 3s.
But the Fumigator doesn't get it.
No, but it already hits on 3s. So everything's hitting on 3s. You're rolling 1s on everything because you're giving volley fire because you've got the CP for it. And anything that charges into your Ironbreakers, suddenly you have drive them back, gives you +1 to attacks on all of your shooting weapons because they're engaged with your Thunderers. So the important thing here is that you want to have a situation where the Thunderers are in combat but not taking damage, because the damage spike from drive them back, in addition to pin them, shred them, finish them, is kind of ridiculous. And if you pump some Aether Gold into rerolling the wounds, and the fact that everything here is Battle Shock immune, basically, because you have the CP and you have the auras, and you're just going to be moving the frigate and the gun haulers around to be playing like a normal KR army doing the KO things, except the fact that you have a very strong core that just pushes up the field. So I don't think it's a bad army. This is one I'd probably take just because it scores all the objectives. It has some dispels. It has some legs. It can have some serious firepower. You just move up the board kind of slowly. But you also, I mean, half the army is mobile in the escort wing, and you just have a lot of firepower. So this is something I haven't tried out myself yet, but this is one of the things I would think about taking. The main problem I have with this is the fact that it doesn't have a navigator with a void storm orb. Because typically what happens when I'm playing in a competitive is that some Seraphon player or someone has Geminids, and if Geminids hits this main line, everything has -1 to hit or -1 attack. And suddenly you're hitting on 4s or sometimes 5s. If you're Seraphon, they have the -1 on top of that. So having a +1 dispel and chance to dispel everything is nice, but having a guaranteed dispel is just better. I don't like playing without a Void Storm Orb. I'll do it, but typically just dispel one endless spell. You only need one. You'll finish them by turn 2, and but yeah, that's farming. I think it's solid. I think most people could play this, and you can get like 3.
What about swapping the Ironbreakers for Longbeards, which in melee also have a 3+ save, and they have the ability to dispel one endless spell, and you get some extra points.
I guess you get a triumph too from not having. I guess that'd be nice. I just like the 3+ save. That said, anybody who has shooting would probably just shoot the Thunderers. So you have a good point.
I mean, the free-up save against shooting. Okay.
That's typically it. That's the reason why. The damage is slightly better on the Ironbreakers too. I think they have rend, whereas the Longbeards do not. Either that
no,
or
they both don't have.
Is it just the extra attack then?
Yes, they have an extra attack. The Ironbreakers.
2 3s and 4s versus Longbeards.
Because you're taking the Longbeards with shield and not the big weapon.
Yeah, I mean, so that's
Okay.
100% increase the attack in melee. So it's a trade-off. It's a really good trade-off. You're not taking them for the damage, so I can agree with you that having a triumph might be better.
So, and I assume you're putting the Endrin Master inside the gun hauler.
With the
Probably.
Admiral?
Yeah. Those go in there and go hero hunting probably. Admiral might stay on the floor and then increase the range of that shock immune.
Mhm.
But I don't think they need it. The general standing in the center can just do that. Both chemists will be on the ground always, of course. Giving reroll 1s to wound on the Thunderers.
Mhm.
And then just an escort wing with 10 Thunders and a frigate is just always good. Regardless of which army you're playing, it's just really good.
But you need the movement as well because you got 50 bodies there moving 4 inches. So you need to having a few ships that can go and put some pressure somewhere else on the board, rather than and not allow people just to sit back is helpful.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's the army. I mean, we talked about Aether Charge Rune. You're just going to smack someone with 3 mortal wounds once per game.
Yeah, and if you have him and the Admiral inside the same boat, then the Admiral can use his command ability because you get lots of extra CPs to give both of them +1 to hit, and you can stack that if you want. If it's towards the end of the game and you've got lots of CPs left.
You want those 4 gun hauler attacks to be hitting on 2s? Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't normally need actually anything more than +1 to hit unless you're going into something else that's got negatives to hit.
I mean, between that gun hauler and the other one, if you fly both of them into something, so you have the torpedo, then you have bombs from both, and if you still haven't killed it, then you can hit them with the hammer. Another 3. So that's
there's a lot. There's a lot of mortal wounds.
So from the 2 bombs on a 4+, so 1 goes through, D3, 2 mortal wounds. Then the torpedo will do another 3, maybe. That's 5, plus the 3 from, let's say, 8 mortal wounds.
8 mortal wounds is
8 mortal wounds.
And you can send the frigate in as well if you want to. And then that's another D3 on 3+.
That's a considerable amount of damage. You can make a Bastille. You can kill Bastillodon with this.
Probably, and the Bastillodon won't be able to kill one boat.
Bastillodon's a monster.
When you're
the Admiral can just kill it. Like you do all this, and then the Admiral kills it because it's a monster.
That's a nice combo.
Yeah. One thing I hadn't considered until you started explaining it was actually the Thunderers do synergize nicely with allies because it just affects enemy models. So, and the same with the Chemist. So, it's not like because they're just affecting enemy models, making them negative to hit. So that's a nice little synergy there when you bring in some allies, they can do that. One thing I'd be tempted to do would be to split the Ironbreakers into 2 units. I don't know because you can't string them up.
You get a discount. That's why this is.
Yeah.
You can't split them.
And you can.
But if you string them out a long way, then they're not in range to be -2 to hit. So if you string them out too far, because it's enemy models that are rather than enemy units.
There's a few fumigators here.
There's 4 fumigators and 2 chemists.
Yeah.
So you do a kind of maybe even a double line, so 15.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
15, and then the 10s, and on each, every 3 inches you add one of those special weapons.
Yeah, because the thing is, the further back you put the Thunderers, then the less enemy models that you're going to make. And also the same with the Chemists.
You want them straight behind. Because most enemies will have a 1-inch reach. So if you have a double line of Ironbreakers, they won't reach them. Still get the -1, and then they get the extra shot. So
only one model of the Thunders needs to be in engagement range for driving back.
Yeah.
So you could just have the fumigators in the front.
Mm-hmm.
Even in the line, actually, of the Ironbreakers, you have one line of 25 mils, half an inch back, and then you just have those fumigators in that line.
Yeah,
cohesion doesn't break it. So
The Fumigator would, because he's on a 32 mil.
No,
Yeah, but he's not.
There's 2 lines.
It's just
Yeah. Oh, okay. So he's going to sit in the gap. Yeah. What I was going to say is it would give you the flexibility to deploy them in 2 different places. So you could deploy your Thunderers in 2 different places. Because other than for battle line, it sounds like the way you're using those Thunderers, they could basically be one big unit. The only reason they're split is to be your battle line requirements.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know obviously you get more Ironbreakers, so you get more wounds to absorb, but you could put them in. You could hold 2 different spots rather than 1 spot. If you split
Also,
them.
you can't do 15 and 15. It would be 10 and 20.
Yeah. So or you'd have to do 2 10s or. So yeah, they'd end up being. There would be more of a weak screen rather than a hold the line for several turns type screen.
At which point, if you just needed bodies to stand there,
You just use
Arcanaut company would be fine. So that's the main reason for this, is that you get so much value for a cheap price for doing it this way.
If there were Longbeards, would you be able to fit 2 units of 20?
I'd have to check.
no.
No, too expensive.
Yeah.
Well, GW, bring the points down. That's what we need.
7, 8. No.
They actually reduced the points on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they did. They did on all the
Ironbreakers and Longbeards.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, you might post GHB have to switch them to Longbeards anyway, just because all the KO stuff will go up.
Yeah, that's what.
Not GHB, FAQ.
Then next, when all the points go up again. Sure. Then I'll have that.
Okay, let's have a look at the next lists. I can't remember what we've got them in. So, it didn't actually scroll, did it? It's sort of half scrolled. Oh yes, so we couldn't talk about Barak Nar without doing a Brokk Grunggsson list because he's the Lord Magni. So, you got to. So, if you watch the Zon show, this might look a little bit similar. But Carl, do you want to talk us through it because it's your list? So
yeah. This time we got 5 heroes. I can actually count this time. Yeah. So more CP, more dispels. You got 2 Arcanaut Company because you have to take them. Iron Sky Command because you might as well. Actually, never mind. You have to take Iron Sky Command because you need the artifact because you need the spell in the bottle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there we go. Cool. So, spell in the battle. You put the chemist down. Chemist starts off not in the boat. He buffs the Endrinriggers to give him +1. Sorry, reroll 1s to wound.
Mm-hmm.
Then he spins the cogs to speed up time. He can do that because it's bound cogs. It's the caster. She's the caster. He's not a wizard, and so only he can spin it. Endrinriggers in this list have 12-inch guns versus in Zon where Sky Wardens have 9-inch guns. So Endrinriggers will they should be able to shoot turn 1 with their 12-inch guns because you have a 26-inch threat range. Moving 14 plus 12. So you should be able to hit the front line.
Or you can fly high. Because
Endrinriggers are 12.
They're 12.
Oh no, you can't fly out. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, don't be silly.
Amateur mistake.
So you're running forward. You're running forward regularly. You got 10 of these guys with saws and.
So you have 11 saw attacks. Rivet gun.
10 because the grapnel and skyhook.
Yeah, but the captain has 2 attacks.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Okay, well, that doesn't count as an extra rivet. That's just you.
No. I mean the sword
yeah.
attack.
I see what you're saying. Cool. It's 11 saw attacks. I see what you're saying. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Brokk basically does the same thing as in my Zon list. It's just he's more CP efficient because you can give the reroll charges for everybody in your army, which really is just himself, the Ironclad in question, and the 12 Endrinriggers. So they move up, they shoot whatever is within 26, hopefully the thing behind the thing you actually want to charge. And then you charge them, and for 1 CP, you get your whole army to reroll charges. That's pretty good. Iron Sky Command gives your Endrinriggers, which are 12 of, Battle Shock immune, as long as you're wholly within 18, which is pretty good because they didn't have that before. Of course, you could just spend the CP, but you can give Volley Fire on every single unit. But typically, it would just be the riggers, the Ironclad itself, and maybe Brokk. You'd spend some CP for doing that. So basically, your first turn here is you're spending a bunch of CP to do all the rerolls. You make sure you keep 1 CP in order to have the reroll charges, and then you have the balance. Make sure that you end up wholly within 18, so that you have the Battle Shock immune once you finish that charge. After that, once you're in the charge, you're in the combat phase. You pop the CP, the Aether Gold on the Endrinriggers to reroll hits. You're already hitting on 3s and 2s, rerolling 2s, 1s to wound because of the Chemist buff. And now your Ren 2 Saws doing D3 damage, of which you have 11 of.
Pretty much all of those are going through.
Yeah, because you're rerolling everything.
Don't underestimate the power of rolling 1s and saws.
Yes, but it's re-rolling all failed hits. So you're re-rolling. You'll
get 10 through it. Yeah, you'll get 10 through it. -2 Ren, D3 damage. That's badass.
Yeah, and so you'll probably much kill. I think it does. I could do the math later, but probably around 30 or 40 wounds to something on a.
The most you can do is 33, 11 attacks at 3 damage.
Oh, yeah, 33.
If you roll D3, like 3 for everyone, so it's probably more about 20 damage.
Well, they're going to do a lot of shooting damage. Yeah. You're going to do more wounds from the Ironclad as well.
Oh yeah,
more wounds from Brokk.
Yeah. Brokk also has 3 saw attacks, does he?
Brokk actually has impact hits. Let's not forget that.
Oh, he has 4
attacks. 2+.
He has 2+ impact hit on top of the Ironclad, which has a +4 to its charge, which is doing impact hits. So you're doing a crap ton of mortals once you actually crash in the front line here. And everything is good in combat because your Admiral is boosting up those 2 Endrinriggers who are inside the Ironclad. So hitting on 2s, 2s and 3s, they will smack, and then the Aether Charge Rune can do a flat 3 mortal wounds.
So is it 2 Endrinmasters on foot?
Wait, was it Engine Master? Oh, it's one dirigible. Yeah, because I had to take it. Okay.
Because you need the riggers as battle line.
Yeah, you're right.
No, you don't. Oh, yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
You need
But yeah, it's the Endrin Master's going in. He has 3 saw attacks. Brokk himself has 4 saw attacks. That's a lot of saw attacks. That's a lot of chopping.
And then in the off case, in the off case that you are, does Endrinrigger's model have to be wholly within? Or what is the healing on the Endrinriggers?
One model has to be within 1 inch.
For the whole thing to heal.
For the whole unit to heal it.
Yeah, so just imagine that. Look how much healing. If the Ironclad, if they shoot the Ironclad for whatever reason, the Ironclad goes down to 1 wound, you can heal back.
4, 5, 6, 7. Well, a potential 19, but more like 10.
More like 10. They're 10 or 12. You're re-rolling because you're spending your CP to re-roll the 4-ups.
If they shoot the Ironclad rather than the riggers, then they're making a mistake.
They are making a mistake. But the point is,
you're re-rolling phase on the Ironclad anyway.
This is actually a surprisingly survivable list. It does a crap ton of damage. You can Alpha Strike, completely wipe someone off the board. And you can do it from... You can back up. You can go second. Be all the way back. This is a... How many drop list?
3. Because only one of Brokk or the Admiral can be in the battalion. Because it's 0 to 1 Brokk Grunggsson or Admiral, 2, so 3. One of them won't be in the battalion.
Oh, that's a shame.
And 3 drops, not bad.
Still 3 drops is good.
It's not bad.
No, 3 is really good actually. Yeah, because you need 4. You need to beat 4 in order to beat Mega Gargants. Most competitive.
If you really want to add to the Alpha Strike, it won't be a huge amount of difference, but you can put the 10 Arkanauts inside the Ironclad as well, because you've got the space, and then they benefit from the Admiral's ability as well.
Depends on the battle plan. Sometimes you need to have...
they're inside. If you ram the boat in, then they get the fight as well.
Yeah.
This is the list I would, if I was going to go to a tournament, I really wanted to win something with Brokk, this is what I'd take. Just because it is...
I must say, this sounds fun.
Depends
what you're fighting against. It can go horribly wrong, but
coalesced D3 damage attacks aren't going to do anything.
Always -1. Yeah.
Is it 3 rivets per?
3 rivet guns. So you've got 36 attacks.
Freezing force.
And you're going to be re-rolling ones to hit and wound with them.
Well, it's not because you have 1 Skyhook and 1 Grapnel Launcher, so it's.
Oh yeah, okay. But the Skyhook and Grapnel do more damage than a rivet gun, so.
But they only hit on a 4, so. No.
Yeah.
Sure. But you could kill Saurus Knights, which are a really popular list. You can
blow them up one round. Those 10 are gone.
Yeah, and then you can charge something else. If you knock out, you have to deal with 3 Saurus Knights list, 3 Saurus Knight units. If you can knock out 2 in the first turn, there's nothing left, right? So
it all depends how far apart you are from your enemy. If you're 24 inches apart, then it's difficult.
You can do
if it's 18,
and you have a dispel. Not a great chance, but you have a dispel with a +1. You could stop Gemids. I think it's a really good list. Like surprisingly, like you could win a tournament with this. I think, but you'd have to play it perfectly. You cannot make any mistakes.
This can take someone like really by surprise.
Yeah, it's because basically it's a massive Death Star Alpha Strike. So if someone doesn't know what it does, then
they have their Frost Lords like all in the front because they want to go first, and they have their Mornfang, and you just crash into that.
You know what you do? It's like, oh yeah, I'm going to deploy back here a bit because I don't really want you hitting me turn 1. I don't really want to like KO shooting. Don't want to be in combat, do I? So you make a meal of deploying a couple of inches back as well. So then they deploy on the line, and then you just hit them. Well, they move forwards, and then you hit them after and double turn.
If I hadn't chopped up Brokk for my prime conversion, I could field this. No problem.
Yeah.
I might try. Just like for funs.
What's interesting is if you compare and contrast this between the list before, is there completely... One is just like sit there and wait, and let people cross the board and shoot, and this one is run at your enemy and hit them.
This is the first rule of the Grunggsson or whatever. This list is built around, if you want to make Brokk competitive, if you want to go 5-0 with Brokk, this is how you do it.
This is...
I wonder if you...
This is similar to what people used to do with Brokk Grunggsson in more Nar in the old book, which is you just run, shoot, and charge with Endrinriggers, basically. You're not running, but you're getting +2 move and +2 charge instead. So
I wonder how much the Admiral actually brings.
Does here?
The CP, or like a Chancellor CP, and the repel borders, but apart from that, because his battleship community is overlaid by the battalion one, so maybe you can swap him out for another Envermaster on foot, for another hammer attack.
You'd still be at the same number of drops.
Yeah, I mean 3 drops not a problem. That's perfectly fine.
I'm wondering if you...
Admiral's a hero slayer, a monster slayer. You just get into a situation where every attack goes through, typically, because he rerolls 1s to hit and wound. And, you can make your dudes run and shoot.
And he can give reroll 1s to hit.
The other thing you could do is if you drop the Admiral and a unit of Arcanaut Company, you go down to 1 drop, because then you'd add in 6 riggers, and you'd have a second unit would charge into something else.
How much points is the Admiral?
120. If you're taking out Arcanauts as well.
And then you're at 1970. Then you're at 1970. And you have a number 6 Endrinriggers, which you could fly high with the boat.
Yeah. Or you could make them 2 units of 3 with just grapnels, and they kind of need the skyhook though.
Yeah, +3 to charge.
So you've got the possibility of charging something else as well.
I think I'd rather take 20 Arcanauts if I was to drop the Admiral. The thing about having a block of 6 engine riggers, there's no second chemist. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not getting that same.
Yeah. But they can
having a block of 20 Arcanaut and just sitting in the bag would just be a better.
Yeah, but you could have 2 units of 3, both with grapnels. You'd be, because you're re-rolling charges with them. So then, and just to pin one of your enemy's units so that they can't respond very easily to hit your big unit of Endrinriggers.
Yeah. Take some volley guns. You just go all special weapons.
I mean, if you want to reduce drops, you could just make the one Arcana Company 20 man. I know you need a battle line.
You need the battle line.
No, I actually like that. You know, like I said, you just take 2 squads of 3. They're just ranged fire. They put out the ranged fire, and if someone wants to waste time killing them while they score objectives or something, they're not hitting your main unit.
You take out the Admiral and just add 3 Endrinriggers with a grapnel, and you go to 1960, which guarantees you a triumph, basically, almost.
Yeah.
So you
know what's a real shame is if you took out the Admiral and a unit of Arcanauts, is you're 10 points shy of just putting in 10 Thunderers inside the boat with rifles. That'd be really nice.
10 points shy. We need another redux.
Yeah, it's just obviously not enough, is it?
Reduce down cogs by 10 points.
Yeah.
Make it just like regular cogs.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to go down. But Seraphon using it?
Well, if you take out the Admiral, he's 120. That's 5. Yeah.
You need 240.
But you can't take out the company because then you lack battle line.
Yeah, you have to put something else in there.
No, Barak Nar. We're playing Barak Nar, guys. You can't take out.
Yeah, they are battle line. True.
Yeah, but you're still 10 points over. That's what I was saying.
If your opponent agrees.
Brock goes down 10 points. That's all we need. Brock needs to go down 10 points.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah. Let's look at the next one. This is a fun one. This is, I don't know if it's fun, but it's an interesting one. Disclaimer, this one hasn't been tested. So this is...
Oh, this is that one. Yeah.
Yes. So this is, you have a Endrinmaster just on foot, a normal one, who has the 8th charge rune. You have a Chemist, who's your general, and he has Spell in the Bottle. And you have Bjorgen Fundrick, because it's Barak Nar. So we had to have one list of Fundrick in. Then you have 2 units of 15 Thunderers with loads of special weapons. Only 2 Fumigators, because I think that's all you really need. And the 9-inch range means they're probably not going to be in range a lot of the time, even with the special trick that we have coming up. And then you have 1 unit of 10 Thunderers with rifles, so that's all your battle line is Thunderers, basically. You've got Fundrick's Profiteers, obviously, because you've got Fundrick. 2 gun haulers, one with the Spar torpedo, one with collapsible compartments, a frigate, escort wing, and the fun thing is the Soulscream bridge. So basically, you bridge forward 30 Thunderers and 2 and a Chemist, and Fundrick. So that, because Fundrick has the same ability as the Chemist for the -1 to hit. So both units of 15 Thunderers are -2 to hit in combat. And it's basically similar to the first list, except you don't have a wall of, something
bodies
to absorb. You don't have bodies to absorb the damage. So you're relying pretty much on that -2 to hit. But you can project your damage and you can move the Thunderers into the middle of the board and then the escort wing is basically doing the same thing as it was in the other list, which it can move around. You can reroll ones to hit against, a target it wants to. It's got 10 Thunderers in it. And yeah, that's how it plays really. And you can put Thunderous Profiteers in one of the gun haulers as well. And because their weapon range is a bit different, they can actually get quite a few shots off as well. So your mobile force is a bit more aggressive.
They have still the 12-inch pistol.
Mm-hmm.
And funnily enough, the balloon Skywarden from the Profiteers can go inside the ship.
Yeah. They have a skyhook in a ship. Sorry, a skypipe.
Yeah, skypipe, yeah.
Skypipe in a ship, yeah.
It's pretty good.
Does he have the mines? I don't think so.
I don't know. He doesn't have the mines ability.
An admiral with Thunderous Profiteers inside of a gun hauler is actually kind of nuts if you think about it. Do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
It might look silly on paper, but when you put down 40 Thunders on the table, we often talk about how much damage 20 Thunders can do in Zilfin, and how stupid that is to put that in someone's face.
Yeah, you put 30 in their face and then another 10 somewhere else.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
I do believe that that's the same level of BS as putting down 40 Sentinels, except the fact that you can't hide from these. Not only that, they have 4-up saves and a -2 to hit, and it doesn't matter if you kill one because the other one will kill you. Right? Like there's just.
What's the threat range on this bridging? So they have 18 and 12-inch shots. Let's say 12-inch, because those are the ones that are going to do the damage. They stand behind the bridge and get out 6-inch in front of the bridge.
So the interesting thing about the bridge is that if a ship goes across it, the ship can still fly high afterwards. In theory, a little bit dodgy. So you can put the if you really want to, if it's risky, like because ideally you want to put the chemist on the line or near the line, so that means you can put the ship the bridge further forwards. But it's obviously a little bit safer to put the chemist on the line if you put them inside the ship. So you've got that flexibility there. But if you can put the chemist on the line either inside the ship or just sitting there, so next to a fumigator, or 32 mil back because he's behind some Thunderers, then you can basically get within. You'll definitely get your 12-inch range models in 12-inch range models in range.
You might not want to put him in the front row because you don't want to put the bridge in front of your army, because then you'll struggle to have all those 30 Thunderers within 6.
Can fit them in.
You actually need to make like a little bridge-shaped hole
you can
in
fit
your line.
them in just on one side of the ship. You can fit both units of. Yeah. You just do them in a little circle.
But yeah,
because it's 6 inches.
Okay. But then, so how wide is the bridge? 3 inches, maybe.
It doesn't. The width of the size of the bridge doesn't really matter because it has to be put wholly within 6 of your chemist. So if your chemist is a bit further back, then you basically end up putting the bridge on the line, like just in front of your stuff to get all your stuff in, and then the next bridge is
wholly within 12 of the first one, and then you can set up.
So it's basically
on the other side.
12 inches and 6, so it's basically 18. You can pretty much always do. So on a 24-inch deployment, then your shortest range guns you're going to be putting potentially
plus the width of the bridge, because you're starting behind the bridge and you're ending in front of the bridge.
But you, even on a 24-inch deployment, you're hampered by being 9 inches away from the enemy.
Yeah.
That's just how big the range is.
No, my question was because you could deploy everything here and then go like diagonally.
Yeah, you can. There is potential to go diagonal, because if you go straight forwards, you're hampered by being 9 inches from the enemy. So, yeah, you can potentially go diagonal. One of the interesting things is when they do hit you, because they will, because you've got 30 Thunderers sitting in front of them, so they will charge that. And hopefully you'll survive because you're -2 to hit, and you've shot the right things to start with. You can then bridge back to the other bridge, and that doesn't count as a retreat.
No, it doesn't.
So
You wouldn't want to, though. I was thinking that, but
yeah, it depends
drive them
because
back.
you get +1 to hit, +1 shot. So you only do it if you've
Well, you
if
do
they
it if you want to
charge-
get back on your objective somehow.
yeah, or if you're in combat with something you don't want to shoot because it's
Yeah.
like 3 Endrinriggers, for instance, like a chaff unit that they charge into you because they know you won't kill it back to stop you shooting something else. That's when you do it.
Yeah, some ether wings or something.
And also another thing you can do is if you really need to, you can use Fundrix Profiteers. Those 4 models. That's a very short screen because
Works.
they're a very cheap unit. So why not?
Mhm.
For
They
free.
just add a little bit of flexibility, but it's not been tested. So it's
basically what you're doing is the Iron Drake bridge alpha shoot that you do in Tempest Eye. Yeah, you buff up the Iron Drake's extra rend, reroll everything, +1 everything, send them over, explode.
Yeah.
And then it's 24 inches +16. But yeah, the nice thing is here that the bridge is guaranteed, whereas in Tempest Eye it's not. So
it's
Cool.
the Funders probably don't do quite as much damage as the Iron Drakes.
It's 30 of them. I'll have to do the math, but
It's also
they're
30
close.
Iron Drakes, isn't it? Yeah, that's
Well, I
30
use
Iron
20
Drake.
because 30 is overkill. 20 is enough, usually.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you've also, because you've got the gun haulers and the frigates that can float around with the other 10 Thunderers inside, you basically hold a point in the middle, like focal points. Just send these Thunderers on the whole.
Yeah.
They will hold for a while against a lot of stuff. I think a lot of people underestimate that -2 to hit. It's just not good against stuff that, does more wounds on unmodified 6s. And
Yeah, I think the
that's
important thing is the fact that it doesn't matter if they kill 15 of them. Like if you can't, most armies can't do 60 wounds to a 4-up rerollable save at -2 to hit. Like it's just so if you don't kill both groups of 15 and you don't get doubled,
one of them shoots you back. So
it's just gonna so imagine when you're playing KO, the goal the first turn is to blow up 2 of the enemy units. So they're usually most armies have like 5-6 units total that matter. So you blow up 2, and so they have 4 units left, and you still have your whole army. If you only lose 1, then you blow up another one the next turn. Now they have 3 units left, and you still have your escort wing. Like this is the rest of your army is still like kind of doing what it's supposed to do. Whereas you would have only lost 15 Thunders is 360 points. It's not that bad. It's actually very cost efficient. So
and if they fail to kill your Thunderers as well, they're battle shock immune. So it's another bonus.
Yeah.
They're not going to be running away.
I think it's a good list.
How
I think
are
it's
they
just a little
battle shock
awkward.
immune?
From the general.
We're staying in center. I mean, you could get blasted off, if you're playing
True.
against Brokk.
True.
Just
True.
get finger
Yeah,
flash.
it's the weakness in this and the first list is enemy shooting, ironically. So, even KO can complain about there being too much
Or
shooting
like
in the
an
meta.
alpha strike that's gonna kill your chemist.
Yeah.
Because
if you
without
don't
the
put-
bridge, your 30 Thunders are just stuck there.
Yeah.
And if they stay outside of 22 of your Thunderers, they're fine.
Yeah. Depending on where you put your chemist, he's going to be -2 to hit in combat. So depending on what the alpha strike is, whatever it needs to be substantial.
Croak
Potentially.
casting.
Yeah. So
Well, Croak doesn't
anything that
actually
does
kill heroes.
anything
first
that
turn.
alpha strikes shooting or alpha strikes
Needs
range
to be
mortal
mortal wounds,
wounds
basically.
is going to be a problem. Anything that alpha
Spell.
strikes in melee is just going to have their substantial unit shot afterwards. So they do their Alpha Strike, they kill the chemist, and then you shoot them with the thunderers, and then they've lost their Alpha Strike tool. It's
Thing is,
the stuff that can
like,
drop and shoot or do more wounds. That's the problem.
A Gargant running in, doing impact hits, then doing picking up the fumigators and put them in his pants. And then with 3-inch reach, he's gonna smack something. But yeah,
something that can target the.
So that'd be my main concern. Something that can actually take away your chemist before he can do his bridge trick.
Mega Gargants don't actually get to you on the first turn.
Not on a 24, no.
But there's other things that can just take it. That can take out a 5-wound hero from range.
Yeah, there's a lot of things in
Sentinels.
Sentinels can do it. Kharadron Riders can just carpet bomb you. Phoenix can carpet bomb you. What's his face? The Nagash ponies list can just
Gyrocopters.
Yeah, anything in carpet bomb can carpet bomb him. So it's not perfect, that's fine, but it is surprisingly not.
Most lists are not perfect.
Yeah.
No, because if you could build a perfect list, then everyone would play it, and then
and then we all play the same list. Oh wait, we did that.
Oh, hang on, my Brokk list is perfect. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh wait, it's Ilfin Vortex list.
So let's move on. So this is Dave's list. With some minor changes, because since he last played it, we had points drops. And I don't say really since he last played it, because he's played Urbaz lists and stuff in the meantime. So it's an Admiral, Endrin Master with dirigible suit, which is the General. So obviously has Champion of Progress. Then he has an Endrin Master on foot, a unit of 10 Arcanauts, 2 units of 10 Thunderers. So that's all of his battle line. Oh, that's not actually all of his battle line, sorry, because then he also has, because the Endrin Master is the General, so then he also has 2 units of 3 Endrinriggers, both with grapnel launchers, and then 2 units of 3 Sky Wardens, both which have 1 volley cannon and 1 drill cannon, a gun hauler, and an ironclad with the buoyancy aid. So he can basically move 20 Thunderers around in a boat, which has a melee component inside as well, with the Admiral and the Endrin Master. He's got 7 battle line units. So, if you play on one of those missions where you need battle line, don't think you're just going to wipe out all his battle line units on there. So, it's a bit like the Zilfin Thunderers list, except for the fact it's less killy, but it's a bit more flexible. Because you've got 2 units of 10 Thunderers, so you can drop one out if you need to. I know when he's playing the bar stage, he's actually quite keen on just charging in the Ironclad at times with 20 Thunderers inside.
It's a lot of attacks.
It's a lot of attacks, which by the time you use the Admiral's command ability, so they all get +1 to hit as well.
Then it's 4s and 3s and 4s.
Yeah.
Or you can get it to 2s and 4s.
Yeah. You got 2 drill bills as well, because it's 2 units.
Mm-hmm.
But this list is very much about how you pilot it. Because whereas some of the other lists is like, well, we can do this cool combo. This is more about just having the units available to play the game.
I can respect that.
Yeah, it's the other list is like once you figure out how they work, you can figure out how to play against them. This is if you don't have like that one combo, that fancy thing you're doing, then it's harder for your enemy to figure out how to play against it.
Yep.
one of the things is because this looks like it can alpha strike you, because you've got basically got 20 thunders and a bow, then it forces the enemy to spread out. But it doesn't really want to alpha strike you because it actually hasn't got the firepower of, say, like the Zilfin list or something like that, or the Brokk Grunggsson list we looked at earlier. I don't know. What do you guys think of this list?
This is, as you said, this is a toolbox, and then you can just apply it to the enemy and the scenario. This will do fine.
My opinion is that there's no reason it should be a Nar. You got 3 heroes.
Yes.
You got a rune that, again,
Maybe.
as we said before, is not the best thing you could take in the book. Command trade, nothing's outside that needs it.
Perhaps the only reason is the battle shock immunity around the Endrinmaster.
Yeah, so I think this is almost as a victim of our points drops, because basically, if you look at this list before the points drops and before and afterwards, all that changed was the Endrinmasters. One, it was used to be 2 Endrinmasters on foot, and one of them got changed to the dirigible suit. So when you didn't have the dirigible suit, the only way it would be legal would be.
I see. Okay. I see it.
You don't, the Endrinriggers and Skywardens being battle line now is just thanks to the points drops.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can see that. That said,
Better.
I mean, it would come back in a month, then I could see this, being a Nar list when all of our things have gone back down. That said, if you really wanted to do this, I would put the Thunders in group 20. What do you get out of 2 groups of 10? You get 1 extra rifle, basically. You get a drill bill, but you lose the ability to spike your damage, which I think is
you get the flexibility to drop them
somewhere
out,
yeah,
and still have some models in the ship. It's not like either or, because if you want to put bodies on an objective, because Endrinriggers aren't going to hold an objective or outnumber models on it. So if you want to put some models on an objective, then you can drop 10 Thunderers out, and then you're not choosing between models on the objective or models in the ship to go and shoot something.
Yeah, I can see that. Both. Most of the time, though, when I'm playing the game, I find that it's either everyone gets out of the ship or not. So you got to remember, 20 Thunderers with only rifles have 18 plus 4 inch threat range. Typically, you're going to see that you're going to want to have people hop out in turns 2 or 3. Everyone will be in range at that point. So there's no difference between you being in the boat or not. If you want to hold the objective, just have more bodies. So I would just take the reroll wounds on 42 shots rather than having Aether Gold on 2 units where you're only going to get, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The other thing is, as mentioned with the Endrinriggers big battle line, was in the previous version of this list, you had to have 2 units.
Yeah.
So, but the gold thing again is like re-rolling all failed wounds with a 20-man unit is obviously stronger. But you can only do that once, whereas so it depends on what you're playing against. If you're taking out, one massive target, then re-rolling, say, using a Triumph on a bigger unit is better. If you've normally come up against more but smaller targets, then being able to re-roll, use your gold, in one turn, and then do it again the round later, then you can do it later. So you might not even be splitting your shots, but you get gold 2 turns in a row. So 1 or 3 turns in a row if you use it then on your Ironclad later in a turn 3 or whatever, because it hasn't been charged.
Yeah, I see that. That's just a player choice at that point. Yeah. That was my only comment. I would personally put it in the group 20.
Yeah, but you've got to make a judgment based on your local meta, largely, because, for instance, like Max, in your Zilfin list,
Yes.
you are primarily trying to fight against, things like Archeon, and you want to take out like a
Recently,
big
yes,
Ghibli.
I've seen a lot of Archeons in Chaos lists, like Zinch lists and Slaanesh lists.
Mhm.
But since I figured out that he doesn't have a aftersave against normal attacks, you don't actually need that much shooting to take him. It's just 20 wounds and a 3+.
But if you've got
Why
a
I
big
take
target,
20 Thunderous is that I can take out your 20 Phoenix Guard in one go.
yeah,
That kind of threat remover. What Kyle said previously, you want something to take out 2 major blocks, preferably. And I must say, having 2 blocks of 10 brings nice flexibility. We said this is a toolbox list, whereas my list is built around the flare pistol, so you want to have that 20 block to spend a gold on them, or 20 buff all of them. The flare pistol. It's, I don't know, what would bother me most about this is the high drop.
Yeah.
Because you screen with 10 Arcos. I just like to have the choice. I don't want to, because if they make you go first, okay, you're going to fly in, fly high, you're going to shoot some stuff.
Well, there's long range. So you got to remember, I guess this entire list operates at 18 plus. So that's nice. You don't get your carbines, which kind of sucks, but you don't.
So you try to shield your Ironclad with Endrinriggers and Sky Wardens.
Yeah.
But then if you get doubled, they get into your stuff, depending what you're fighting against. And that's the horror scenario, is your Ironclad gets surrounded by eels. Or something like that. Something that can fly, that can jump over you, get through your screen, and actually do the damage to the Ironclad too. And then you lose 20 Thunderers and the Ironclad, and then you're left with, Arcana Company and maybe a unit of Endrinriggers somewhere. And the gun holder. So it's not, if you're not sure what to play with KO, maybe this is a good list, because this gives you the units. You can play around, you can try, be mobile, you can move most of your army each turn somewhere else on the board, which is the greatest fun playing KO. And then you can start adding other bonus by going into different skyports. So you want to move more? Okay, go Zilfin, because you run 10 and you get the extra hero phase move. You want more gold to play around with those rerolls? Oh, go Urbaz. You want to be more aggressive? I don't know if you want to be aggressive with this list, like melee aggressive to go Zon, but you like the Sky Wardens? Oh, sure. Maybe go old Sky Wardens and make a bigger block of them.
Yeah.
So it's a solid choice of units to own.
Yeah.
One
of the things we said beginning before we started looking at some of the list was, one of the ways you can play Barak Nar is you go without a battalion, because some of the battalions don't necessarily synergize that nicely with Barak Nar. And you just take the units that you want. I don't necessarily think that is limited to Barak Nar. I think you can do that in most skyports, and it will work. So that's why you can look at a list like this and you can say, well, it doesn't necessarily need to be Barak Nar, because, when we talked about Freeing, we said, well, you can build a list without a battalion and go down that route.
Because remember, battalions cost points, and often
you're
like missing, I'd like that another 100 points somewhere to get that hero. No battalion. Here you go. If you're not bound, because I built my list around that artifact or that spell on a bottle or whatever. Sure, because it is mobile, so you can deploy in a corner.
Like, for instance, like Barak Zilfin has the same capability where you can go battalionless and go with and it does slightly different things because Barak Nar gives you the benefit. You can give you some of the benefits you get from having a battalion, such as extra CPs, some battle shock immunity, that sort of thing. If you Barak Zilfin, you can go down a different route and you can get the extra artifact and the extra engine work without having a battalion. Or if you want ultimate freedom, you can go without a skyport and create your own.
That's something I'd wanted to talk about. How close to the Barak Nar rules can I get with a custom skyport? Okay, the unbinding on dispelling, like unbinding bonus. It's not dispelling. I'd need a navigator with his trait. I think he has a trait that does it better. But otherwise, because I usually never go without a skyport, but can I build with the footnotes and amendments? Can I build something similar? My question for you.
I don't remember off the top of my head. I believe only one of those footnotes is any good. It's probably run and shoot.
Yeah, it's run and or retreat and or shoot and or charge. It's like you can basically just do anything.
So the cute thing about that is the Sky Wardens get to use their time charges and then cycle charge. That's something you could do on that. But we'll go over a custom Skyport later.
Yeah. The other good thing about custom port is you can basically get the Urbaz ability.
So you can get the Urbaz, you can get the reroll charge once per battle.
That's
like just for one unit. Run and rotate or run and shoot.
That's good. The healing one is okay.
One's
without our ships or not.
The reroll ones for against flying units is a Zilfin one.
Zilfin, yeah.
So you could maybe customize it a little bit.
So yeah, I mean, there's a toolbox list in every port or custom port essentially. And you don't necessarily, like, this is one example of a toolbox list because when you have like this style of list, it's very personal to your style of play because you're not building around a synergy or a combo. So it's not like, well, yeah, you need that one combo and that's what's good. It's, you have the tools to do the things you want. So if you like having 2 units of riggers that can stop people from retreating, you can do it. If you like to have like MSU, then you can do it in toolbox. If you want to have just big units of bodies. Pardon?
Why is the Sky Wardens and the riggers should have reversed loadouts? Now that you mention it.
Do you think?
Yeah. The Sky Wardens are always, they are skirmish cavalry as a role, but they're also defenders. So if you want to have something that's going to die, get charged by something that has flying, you want it to be the Sky Wardens. The riggers always want to heal, and they want to, that you get more value out of riggers the longer they stay on the field, regardless. Sky Warden died at any point. So here, I do believe that those weapon slots should be switched. There's no advantage to having them the way that they are.
I think the thing is, if you charge the Sky Wardens in, because if you whatever unit has the grapnel, you are intending to charge them at some point to stop something from charging you. So if you charge the Sky Wardens, then the likelihood is they won't be charged by something that can fly because they're already in combat.
Sure, but so what are you getting out of having the riggers be in combat? The saw attacks, of which you have 2 of, 3, because you
send them in.
4, 2,
you
3.
send them in. It depends when you send them in because you don't have to send them in day one. So you might have them stay with the ship for 2 or 3 turns, and then then at some point you send them in to hold a unit in place.
The Skywarden pistols, 9 inches. So right, it's like you're basically giving up having a third gun if you're operating at 24. Even if you go and operate at 12, which the Ironclad can with the riggers, you're not going to have that third gun. So you might as well just have the third gun on the riggers, and then have the option to get a damage spike at 12 inches, rather than.
I could see the case of putting drill cannons on the riggers as well.
Well, I just meant swapping. So the
polygons.
Yeah.
I know, drill cannon.
Skywarden should have 1 grapnel and 2 pikes, and then just accept the fact that anything with a grapnel launcher is going to be going forward to be in range to use the grapnel, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Skywardens want to go forward in order to use their pistols. So you'll get more out of that 9-inch 2 shots, 3s and 3s pistol with the grapnel because you're going forward or being a roadblock. You don't want the riggers to have the grapnels because you don't want to encourage a style of play where the riggers die at any point in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just saying that the loadout doesn't make sense. You could probably swap that and just get more out of it.
You know what wouldn't surprise me is if the Endrinriggers have got grapnels, because they're from the old book, and the Skywardens have got drill cannons and polygons because of the old book. When they were the only time they were useful was when they were cheaper, and you just use them for shooting. That wouldn't surprise me if that's the reason it's that way around.
That's fair. Okay.
Yeah.
For the sake of the show, though, I would say you would play this swapped in the current meta.
Yeah.
Or not the current meta, but just the current state of the book. You'd probably play them swapped.
Yeah. And this is like ultra optimization we're talking about now, because it's when you start talking about whether you get your 1 vulcanizer pistol shot in, or was it 2 shots?
Yeah. No, it's it is a very minor amount of difference here. But I'm just saying, you don't want to. The thing that was more important to me was the fact that you have grapnels on riggers, and I was like, why? You don't want to do that. I mean, in some lists you do, but if you have the option, why you don't want to do that? So it just stood out to me. But yeah,
because the other thing is, if you do want to tag a unit, you don't want to put many of your models into combat, because then that allows them to get more of their models into combat. So you literally only want 1 of them within half an inch and to trail the rest out. So then actually the 2-inch range does come in helpful then with the sky bikes as well. So there's that as well. So I mean, that's all of the lists we've got to look at. So have we got any final thoughts about Barak Nar?
If you're going to play Barak Nar, make sure it's for a reason that, you could do it for fun. You could do it for casual. This is a good casual thing. But what I was going to say is, make sure you're doing it for something that Nar does that the others can't. There are a few things that Nar does the others can't. So just ask yourself that question, I think. Why you're playing in Nar.
Because when we were prepping this show, we run through a few different lists, and several of them could have played perfectly well.
And Zilfin.
They would have played better in another Skyport. Like, you could easily do a Brokk Grunggsson style list that would play better in Zon. Like the one that we got here does sort of play better in Nar, but if you swap that unit for Skywardens, you'd be like, well, why aren't you in Zon? Do you know what I mean? And the same with the Soulscream bridge list. There's actually a version of that would work better in Zilfin, and there's a version of the one without the bridge that has lots of thunderers and the Ironbreakers that if you tweaked that a bit would be better in freeing, wouldn't it? So potentially. So yeah, make sure that it's a strong. Once you've written a list, is ask yourself, would this be better in a different Skyport? And I think that goes for all the Skyports, actually, not just for Nar. I think you're most likely to have it crop up in Nar, aren't you?
The other ones have an identity. This one has a bit of an identity crisis.
Yeah, I think what they want to do is the whole trust in informatics, anti-magic, but in the current meta, it's just not good enough anti-magic.
Maybe, the other thing is that you have enough Thunderers, just kill the casters. I was thinking about this though. We talked about the fact that Thunderers have 4-inch movement, which is really the thing that makes them bad in regards to having a battle line unit. However, the most important part about dwarves is that they're natural sprinters, in that they can charge. So you can actually reliably move Thunderers around 10 inches a game. 10 inches a turn, due to Brokk making them charge 6, 7, 8, 9 inches in addition to the 4. And then they're probably not going to die if they charge something that's not going to kill them. So you can actually
are
play
in charge range, yeah.
Yeah. It means that you can play Brokk with 20, with 60 Thunderers, just nothing but Thunderers, and just move up the board by charging into things and then shooting them and then surviving combat because you -1 to hit, and then killing them and then moving forward again. Maybe that's what they were intending when they're like, oh, you know what, Games Workshop, they're thinking, it'd be really cool is if someone took Brokk and 5 chemists and all the Thunders that they could take, and they just moved off the board. They just shot everything and then moved off the board. Maybe that was the plan. That would be every rule.
I've thought about doing something like that because if you're the one charging, you can guarantee that you can guarantee that they're not going to get lots of models that aren't. Their only models in combat are going to be the ones that are negative to hit. The trouble is what will most likely happen is you'll make the charge with the chemist and not the Thunderers, or you make the charge with the Thunderers and not the chemist.
We have rerolls for everything because of Brokk, remember?
Yeah.
It's a long shot. It's not ideal.
If you want to move forward and shoot, then I'd go Molnar for the run and shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. So if your friends are fed up with you playing KO because you're always tabling them, this might be a solution for you. Go Barak Nar.
Yeah. And I guess the last thing is, Carl, you said that you would play one of these lists, didn't you?
Yeah.
So is that a promise?
Challenge accepted.
Or is that just say if we choose the right one?
No. If one is chosen,
chosen by whom?
Not. No offense, I wouldn't want to do this last one, so don't do that to me. But the other ones,
people are going
if any of the other ones are chosen, I will play them in this tournament on the next weekend.
Right.
Okay, I'll vote
next
for
weekend.
the Brokk one.
So
okay.
Let us know in
shooty
the
stabby one.
Which one you want Carl to play. And maybe I'll put a poll somewhere as well if I can figure out how to do that.
By when do you need to know?
Yes. Do you need to paint anything for some of these lists?
So I got 4 days, basically.
Okay.
What did you say?
Would you have to paint something if we chose
Oh no. So this would be on tabletop sim, luckily.
Oh. Okay.
Okay.
So basically, my plan is, it's you play against a bunch of people from all over the world, and then I'm doing all the Skyports to find out which port I kind of like the best, and then I'm gonna build that. So I've gone through most of them. I have all the models still on sprue, and I have an army that's Urbaz that's painted, and that I can take to tournaments and stuff. But I'm still figuring out what I want to put on my Skyriggers, which weapons I want to put.
Yeah, because they're unlike Thunderers, they're a little bit annoying to magnetize. So you can magnetize certain bits of it, but if you want to fully magnetize the whole unit, you use a lot of magnets.
Yeah,
it's a lot of effort.
And also, like Thunders, you don't need that many to do all the play styles you ever want to do with Thunders. Meanwhile, with Riggers, it's like, oh, sometimes I want 6 cannons, so sometimes I want 2 cannons. You know? So
hence why I have 24 of them.
Yeah, yes. I got 42. You know, so I got
yeah,
because I couldn't be powered. Although I magnetized the hook and the Dur cannon, you like the tip. It's just different.
Yeah, the tips is a nice easy.
That's easy to magnetize. Yeah, actually, I got one here. Just I don't know where the rest of it is.
I mean, nice thing.
You just got a tip.
I just got a skyhook tip. Yeah, and some of the cord broke off with a magnet.
Yeah.
Nice thing about KO is that every start collecting box, the Warcry box, the Aether War box, everything gives you Sky Riggers. So you can get a lot of them for cheap.
Yeah, even super cheap on eBay.
Even the old Battle Force box had some in as well. So
the Aether Wars, yeah. I must say, I've been to a shop lately. I've seen the Warcry box. It's a good box.
Yeah,
because it gives you 10 Thunderers.
Does it?
And 3 Sky one.
5.
Yeah, I was thinking.
If it gives you 10,
is it the other way
bargain.
around? Is it the other way around?
I thought it gave you 5 and 3.
5 and 3. It gives you
because
5
if it gives you 10, then it's a massive bargain. Because it's basically cheaper than buying.
But still, 5 and 3. Because that's the things you want. If you already have all the gun horrors you want.
So I don't know how much it is over there, but here it's £40. So if you bought a unit of Sky Riggers and a unit of Thunderers, it would be 50 individually. So you save £10 basically. But the trouble is the start collecting is 60. So you get the same things plus a gun hauler and a hero for the extra £20. So you get it's basically you buy that box if you don't want any more gun haulers.
Exactly. And
you never don't want more gun haulers because you could just play 9 gun haulers in a list.
You could play 12 gun haulers.
you
wait because you wait until the Barak Nar show because you were shocked at 50 Sky Riggers last week.
But I've been chatting to Seb for the last half year, so I know all about those 9 gun haulers. And,
I played against a list that was 9 gun haulers.
Yeah,
it was a mirror match. Yeah. I blew up a lot of boats that day.
Where's the Warcry stuff?
Are you checking to see actually how many you get?
Yeah, how do I find Warcry stuff on this?
Oh, you have to go on boxed games. There's not underage super.
There it is. Warcry. What is it? Warbands.
I mean, if you get 10, that's going on my Christmas list.
No, it is 5 Thunderers and 3. It's the first one.
That would have been absolutely insane.
50.
Yeah, because it would have been £75 worth of models for £40. So it would be like half price nearly. It'd be like eBay prices.
So I can get it for €40, a bit less than that. Yeah, €40. Usually on eBay you pay 18 to €20 for 3 Skywardens. At least here, and the same for fun. Yeah, basically it's eBay price. Okay.
Yeah.
Still good. Unfortunately, they don't have that Goblin Warcry band anymore because that's a super deal. Because you get like a lot of stuff in it that you want, but it's sold out.
Okay, let's wrap it up. We're almost at 2 hours here.
Cool. Yeah, so I will try and figure out how to put a poll somewhere to decide between these lists. And it'll be like, I don't know you guys have seen it because it's like a UK thing, but there's a thing called Saturday Kitchen. And basically throughout the show, they get the viewers to vote on 2 different recipes for guests to eat. And it's like heaven or hell. So it's like, do you want to give Kyle his heaven list or his hell list? So you got a choice between like the fun list that he wants to play, or you can make him play the toolbox list that he doesn't want to.
You can make him play the 40 Thunder list.
Yeah. I don't know. You might find that one fun. But
right.
yeah, if you like the show, hit like. If you like the channel, hit subscribe. Comment below if I don't manage to put a poll somewhere, and let us know what you think of Nar, and let us know which Skyport you want us to do next.
Exactly. So what's the plan for the next show?
I don't know. You always ask me that, and I don't know the answer.
I mean, we could do a poll on that too. Actually, just gauge interest.
Yeah.
What we should do.
But then we'll get like weird stuff.
Yeah.
We were thinking of doing
getting guests on.
a prediction FAQ leak show soon. Like, get your tinfoil hats out. Join us in some wild speculation.
Yep.
I have faith that vent plates will not be FAQ'd.
Oh, that's guaranteed.
Guaranteed that they won't be, or that they.
If it doesn't get it through its next one, I'm just going to abuse it. I mean, I'll go through and I'll be like, yeah.
Reopen that PDF document and add it, and by now they don't want to do that. So, obviously.
But yeah, thank you guys for joining us, and thank you everyone for watching.
Okay.